Welcome to Trading Lounge and the European indices, and we'll be looking at the DAX and the FTSE. Not a lot of help today, but what we can do though is we've been counting 5 waves up here. This last little leg here, it does appear that we can have one more little high here, but let's just, to keep things simple a little bit, and we'll go in and look at that, but we can short it below this low here, and any long trade that we have, we would have to wait for a move up here, and then a corrective pattern here, and then would go long from that point there. Being long on top of 300 here, which is the top of group 1, would set the target at 500 up here for this. So we need support here will stop the market being pulled back to the closest largest number here. If the 200 becomes the retested resistance here, would get a bounce off there and check back there and then drop below that after that retest, then we would pull back to this level here. So that's what the 2 is good for here. But what we're trying to be doing is trying to count from this little section here, count 5 waves up here. I can squash it in here, but there's also the possibility that this can be 1 and 2 here and 3 here and 4 here, even though there is an overlap here, and going up for 5 here. And then having a top in place that can actually just drop from that point there, or find support here and we'll take that high out. So I know where we can go long and I know where we can go short. I'm just not sure about this little pattern in here. We'll just go in and have a little look at this here. So we've been counting from the low here. I was counting, well, 1 here and 2 here, and it's not that we're in a trade here actually, so we went long here and we take profit here, or we put the stop here. So yeah, so I was looking for wave 4 to come into play and wave 5 to move up here, because we had 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 for the third wave here. So it's possible to put wave 4 here and still look for wave 5 up here. Okay, I'm just not quite sure about that. I know that we can go, otherwise we'd look for 5 waves down from the top here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here. So it does count as 5 waves down, except for we've got a problem here too, where wave 4 overlaps the top of wave 1 here. But we could go short below this low here, and we could also go short below this little low in here as well. The market has pulled up to the 61.8% of that move down through here. Let's just go into the tick chart here and take another look at this. So from this wave, this is where I can fit it in at the top here. Okay, so from wave 4 here, I can go wave 1 and ABC for wave 2 here, not worrying about the spike so much, and then looking for 5 waves up here in terms of 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for third and fourth here, then 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here for 5 and 5. So it kind of does fit. It's sort of okay to fit in there. And then we're left with, say, wave 1 and 2, nice strong third wave here, but wave 4 overlaps wave 1 here. At this degree of structure, do we sort of worry about that? And then I find it difficult to count 5 waves down here. I mean, I can count 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 here, and then a corrective wave and then down here. So this is not looking good here as well. So it's all a little bit messy for me, but what I was thinking, of course, we can go low, short below the 200 here. We can also go short below the 13,220 here of group 1, because if number 2 here becomes the support resistance here, then it's going to be pulled back down to this number. If it's going to be pulled back down to this number, then basically we're going to get a double bottom. So double bottoms and double tops are never the end of the trend. So we know at some point it will be breached from that point there. It's just the wave structure and all of this, all of this here doesn't really do much for me. I know all this can be counted as an ABC correction as well. So if I look at it on the cash market, I mean, if I took this as the top, which has made the high here, the top here, we could look at this as 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and well, it doesn't count very well as 5 down here, but we have to do that. Or if this is the top here, because I mean, as an A and a B and a C here, but obviously that is the top here. so maybe we just got to squash it all up into that top there, but it just doesn't feel quite right to do that. So a bit lost here on this, unfortunately. But just going back to our hourly trade thing here. So below the 200 area here, we can look to short. And obviously, if the 13,200 becomes the retested resistance, we can do that. Otherwise, we need to, you know, we were looking for 5 waves down. I mean, maybe that is the 5 waves down here, and that top's in place, you know, here. So I just don't know. Just don't know. But even so, I mean, for the long trade, we can't go long yet anyway, because we would need, I would need to see the first high above the level, then I'd need to see an A and a B and a C wave, and then up from there. So we'd go long at that point here. So I need the setup on the, we're only halfway through a setup here to go, because if we got a setup on the 300, well, then we'll be looking at the 500. So yeah, we don't have that. So we'll be looking at a classic trading levels pattern. So if we just imagine this for a moment, the 300 here, we'll be looking at a pattern like this. So we know that we've got the arrival, we've kind of got a reaction here at the moment. We don't know if this is 5 waves or 3 waves, but if we get that move up through here, then we can't chase that. We still have to wait for it to come back, and then we have to wait for it to sit on the 13,300 here. So we'll either get this pattern where it comes through here, or we'll get the variation on that where it doesn't move through here and just sits on there. Either way, we'll take that high out or the second high out. It doesn't really matter. But we need those two, either one of those two patterns to play out here for the next long trade here. But on the short side, you know, if we do have 5 waves down here, well, then we can go at that just under the 200 area here for that. And the FTSE, I'm still not much help with the FTSE either. So with the FTSE here, we'd counted 5 waves up here from wave 4 here as 1 and 2, and this 5 waves here, not a problem, that's all cool. We had an ABC here for wave 4 here, but we didn't really finish up here in a nice 5 waves either. It's like this is a B wave up here, and if that is a B wave, well then it does appear that we've got 5 waves down here, so that's something. So we could get an A and a B and a C coming back here, or this could be wave 1 here and wave 2 here. But also too, because that looks like a B wave here, like an A and a B, and then 1 and 2 in here, strong 3rd wave here, 4th wave and 5th wave here. It looks like a B wave, so this wave 4 here can be sitting over here. So once again, this could also move up from here as well. But in this case, we can't go long here unless we got support on top of 7,400, and we would also need to see this as a classic trading levels pattern here as well on this case here, and go along from here. I mean, one of the good things about this, if it is a long trade from here, if it is a long trade going up here, it will be good because we'll go up to 500 at that point, because all of this here means that it's as an A and a B and a C wave here for wave 4. That means that we'll get from here up to the next level here. I mean, the bigger the correction here, if this is wave 3 here and this is wave 4 here, it's quite a big correction, isn't it? So to me, that's an accumulation process through here, and that will equal the distribution process coming up through here. So even though corrections can be, large corrections like this that don't really go anywhere, can be, you know, time consuming and laborious, and, you know, make you fall asleep at the wheel and all the rest of it. But this is the point where we need to be, you know, diligent. We need to be we need to be awake. We need to be conscious. And all I can say here is that if this is the 74 is the 61.8% retracement level, if that becomes support, then we will look for our setup, then we need to be long, and we'll have a trend from that point. But otherwise, it will move up here and fail, and then move down again from that point. So we can look to be short in this. Let's just have a look at the tick chart here. So you see from the top here, we can see that we've got, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 here. Let's just call all of this a correction here of some sort of A, B, and C here for wave 3, or we could even look at it here. But anyway, all of this is the third wave here, somewhere in here, with the middle of it here, wave 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So in this case, we can take that top and that low here, and well, we know the 74. I already knew that. Monday morning, bit sleepy. Yeah, so it can rally up into this place. So what we can do here is we can put this through here, and it won't go past the price, of course, but we can put that in there as a short trade from that point. I'm not going to trade it long unless we get support on the 74 here, as simple as that, but we can trade it short. So coming back to the hourly chart here, based on that little move up here, it's a bit more definite on the tick chart, isn't it? Let's go back here and check that a bit. Much more definite there. Maybe you could look at this on a 15-minute chart. Let's just have a look at the definition. That's a bit better. Still not there, still cuts through there, still not there. Well, in that case, if this was a bullish move, this would have to be wave 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. So we could short it below the 70 here. So that's 72 here. I mean, that's the thing as well. I mean, this, I'm not going to draw on here, but what we will do here is we can short below 70. So if the 70 becomes the retested resistance, we can short. So we know that much. So let's just go back to the hourly and look for that 73.70, which is below here. That gets us somewhere, doesn't it? So that's there. So we can short it below there. And you could also add to the trade too if this, because this is all of group 2 here. So if 70 becomes the retested resistance, but we're going for 70 in this case, we can go for 72 if you want to get in a bit earlier. If that becomes the resistance, then we can short, and we can also short below the 65. So building in on 62, 72 and 65. And yeah, and the other point too is that, you know, this is what we've got to work out here, is this wave 4 here, because we do have a nice 5 waves. So it would be an A and a B and a C here, and we're bullish, or we take these. We have to be prepared for both of them. That's the thing. So this can push a bit higher in here, and then fold from that point. So yeah, definitely take those signals on the short side there, and otherwise we have to wait on the long side. So that's about the best I can do. It's just not clear to me. It might, if it's clear to you, then please let me know, and I can share it with others. Okay, cheers.